Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the feat Linguist.
Parlez-vous français? Habla español? That's literally all I got, and it was kind of butchered in both cases. So yeah, linguist is hypothetically the feat.
Kabuta.
Sure.
That you know what that means?
I don't.
It means pencil sharpener. I
Nice,
like it
nice,
though
nice.
because it sounds dirty, but it's not.
So if you're a linguist, you've obviously studied the pencil sharpener, and as Bob has suggested, but it also says you've studied languages and codes. You can get the following benefits: the feat from the PHP, increase your int by score by 1 to a maximum of 20. And normally, and I say if this gives us anything else, that's enough. +1 int means if you got a non-int, you make it even, and they get a plus ability modifier. You're pretty happy with that. You get to like add one to your spell save DCs if you're a wizard, or your spell save DCs if you're an artificer, or your spell save DCs if you're an eldritch knight, or your spell save DCs if you're a arcane trickster. And that's the comprehensive list of every character that puts on the character sheet. Beyond that, you learn 3 languages of your choice, which is I'm gonna say it worthless. However, it also has this other cool ability. So you can ably create written ciphers. Others can't decipher a code you create unless you teach them. They succeed on intelligence unless you teach them, they succeed on an int check, DC equal to your int score plus proficiency bonus, or they use magic to decipher it. So it kind of gives you this tool to have a written code if you want it. Now, how good is that, do you think, Bob?
Well, I mean, like it says right there in the description, not very, because you can just easily use magic to decipher it.
What magic deciphers it?
I don't know. I mean, it says you can use magic to decipher it. I assume there's something.
I would
And
also assume there's something. I don't know what it is.
I would also assume that something wouldn't be a super high level spell.
But is it something people are readily using?
Yeah.
That's my question.
This part of this feat also is not something anyone's readily using.
Sure. The comprehend languages spell says this spell doesn't decode secret messages in a text or glyph, such as an arcane sigil or something that's part of a written language, or that isn't part of a written language. So, like, hypothetically, I don't think comprehend languages deciphers linguist ciphers. I don't think. But maybe, like, other spells do. I just don't know what they are off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But even if comprehend languages does, that's still a first level ritual spell that bards, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards can get. So other players don't necessarily, or other characters don't necessarily have that. Let's think about a world where it isn't easily broken. Let's think of a world where the int save isn't even part of it. How good are ciphers, generally speaking, in Dungeons and Dragons? Are they useful?
Yeah, like in World War II, yes. In Dungeons and Dragons, I don't know.
Me neither.
I mean, I could see like coming up with some kind of scheme, but it's not the sort of thing that works well with this game, because not just like the hacking slashing nature of it, just like the party nature of it. Like if you're doing this thing, then you've got 5 other guys sitting around a table bored out of their minds.
Yeah, a lot of times it's the kind of deal where I wonder what tables, like this should be an intrigue table, some kind of scheming, conniving, plotting. You're sending messages to a specific group or organization. They're sending a message back. That to me just sounds like character downtime. Like it's something you do as a feature of, like, I work with the Zentarum and the Thieves Guild of Forgotten Realms, and I will use my ciphers as a way to decrypt codes and talk to them, about jobs or whatever they need for our next adventure. That isn't actively taking up D&D game time, nor is it something that's actively like contributing towards succeeding in the adventure. It's just sort of a background thing that contributes to the overall narrative. You don't need this feat to technically say you do that. Like, you might just say, I've got a criminal background and contacts that I, meet with in shady alleys, and that'll be about as effective as Linguist will be. This is like a codified game language to give you that.
Yeah. See, I think if you're gonna make ciphers fun in D&D, then the party can intercept a ciphered message, and they have to sit there and try and work out the puzzle.
Yeah. You use it as a word puzzle or a numbers puzzle or something that the group collectively tries to solve. Yeah, Linguist doesn't do that at all. Linguist tries to do the inverse of that. Is solved by an int check.
I think the cipher is the most interesting part of this, but not super usable. I think the languages are going to be more useful, and still not vary at most tables, but there will be some where, you know, you're visiting the goblin village or whatever, and they don't speak the common tongue, and you have to either mimic what you're trying to get across, or, oh, somebody learned the goblin language.
Normally, I'd agree with you. However, you could take the ritual caster feat and put comprehend language in your book.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
love
that's
where Linguist is left after that. Like, sure, you can't necessarily communicate to them within their own language, which Linguist lets you do. So that is an upside to Linguist. So, like in the example with the Goblin Village, you would understand what the goblins are saying to you, but they don't necessarily understand what you're saying to them. So then you're left with like okay, this is a way to get a two-way communication whenever it's necessary open. And I think that normally is going to be in intrigue games. It's normally going to be spying. It's going to be political, downfalls of leaders and coups and assassination attempts and, poisonings, sneaking in and out, shuttling and getting goods under the cover of darkness to point A or point B, right? That's where that kind of fits in. I will say this is one of those rare instances of it, because it doesn't happen at first level, you can kind of like get a scope of the world and say, okay, we need these languages. Linguist gives you a way to get those languages. I still don't think that's worth a feat. Now, is it worth a feat in those games when you're also wanting a +1 int? So you have to have a 17 int, which means if you're using point buy, you're starting with a species that has a +2 int, so you can get a 17 there, and then this give you an 18. In that exact window, in the table that's doing the shady dealings and stuff and knows the languages matter and can also use the cipher for downtime stuff, then I'm like, it's a 2. I think everywhere else this is completely unusable. I don't think the vast majority of tables have ever cared about languages. Like, the goblins speak common because everything in D&D tends to speak common because it makes the game easy to understand.
Yeah, like, all right, so the ciphers are probably never going to come up.
Yeah.
And you made a fantastic point with the, ritual caster is a feat you could take in place of this. And yeah, that doesn't give you the int bump, but it gives you a shit ton more. And comprehend languages is part of that. It's not two-way, but I'm not
That's
taking
normally
this.
good enough.
I'm not taking this over like half a feature.
Yeah. I think that's accurate. Ritual caster comes with detect magic, comes with find familiar, it comes with every other ritual spell you can find along the way.
All right, over the past couple of videos, we've been a couple negative Nancys, and I've tried to be a little more optimistic than Sam, but I can't do it this time. This gets a 1.
Yeah, this is pretty unusable. I do agree that I think it probably deserves a 1. I just don't think there's like the tables I wanted to do the intrigue stuff, just play Blades in the Dark, play Vampire the Masquerade, play non-Dungeons and Dragons games that are better for that. D&D is not great at doing the shady espionage, toppling governments kind of gameplay that Linguist kind of has a home in, and it's not even like a good home because your background covers most of what Linguist gives you. So, utter trash.
All right, that was Linguist. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Sam, and hey, let us know what you think of Linguist down in the comments. And yeah, there you go. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.